Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Namaste Village and to the Namaste Experience. It is Tuesday, and I'm excited about our session today. I'm always excited, but I told an inspirational story yesterday, all about this divine algorithm that helps us to realize that which is always true within us. And so I kind of like this idea of telling inspiring stories. So we're going to tell another one today, but I want to begin with a quote from A Course in Miracles, just a couple of lines, because Vicky suggested that we have been doing some work with the mystics and with Taoism. And this week, we're going to just pull one or two lines each morning from A Course in Miracles and let that be our entry into the experience. So I want you to listen really deeply to this. It says, to think like God is to share God's certainty of who you are. To think like God is to share God's certainty of who you are. And to create like God is to share the perfect love that God shares with you. Isn't that beautiful? Perfect certainty. Let me read the whole thing again. To think like God is to share God's certainty of who you are, and to create like God is to share the perfect love that God shares with you. Perfect love, perfect certainty, it all comes together. So I want to tell you a story about a man who experienced this in a very real way. He had perfect certainty of who he was, and he shared that certainty with the certainty that God had for him. So this was a man who lived in Europe, and he had a very demanding father. In fact, his father was a policeman and a Nazi. So you can imagine the way that he was raised. He was very controlling, very hard. He was beaten regularly by this father and told that he had nothing to offer, told that he would never accomplish or amount to anything. And yet, this man felt something within him, this perfect certainty that he was in the wrong place. In fact, in his mind, he belonged in America. And that was his dream. He didn't know how he was ever going to get to America or how he would accomplish this dream, but he had perfect certainty that that's who he was and that's where he belonged. So he began to exercise, and he began to get into shape and to build muscle and get strong. And finally, he somehow, I'm not even sure how he did it, he was able to get to the United States, and he only had $20 in his pocket when he arrived. But he began to make some friends, and they helped him. They would give him a place to stay, sometimes a closet, sometimes somewhere that none of us would ever want to stay. But he did, because once again, he had perfect certainty of who he was and why he was there. In fact, he went to Los Angeles because he believed, he knew actually, that he was meant to be in the pictures. He was meant to be a great movie star. But no one believed this for many reasons. Number one, they thought that his body looked very strange. It would never work on the screen. Someone with his strong accent, that would never, ever make a great movie star, anyone who spoke the way he spoke. And even his last name could hardly be pronounced by the typical American. A name like Schwarzenegger. And there we have it, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had perfect certainty about who he was and what he was there to accomplish. Now, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger's perfect certainty was about his identity with a small I. We are called now to share God's whole perfect identity of who we really are, the capital I identity. So having heard this now, let's listen to that quote one more time. And then I'm going to turn it over to Vicky, and she's going to take it from there, and then I'll finish things off. So here's the quote once again. To think like God is to share God's certainty of who you are and to create, excuse me, God bless me. Once again, to think like God is to share God's certainty of who you are. And to create like God is to share the perfect love God shares with you. The key word there is share. To share God's perfect certainty of who you are, who you've always been, who you couldn't stop being, no matter how hard you try. And we've all tried very hard to be something other than. It's the idea that we can be something other than as we were created that has led to everything, every issue, every problem, every concept, everything that is seen to guide us away from this simple reality, this simple truth. But if we share it with God now, we share it with God forever. We may close our eyes and deny that sharing, but it doesn't change the fact that this is true. That's why we begin with the prayer that we start with every day. To know that which can be known, to see that which can be seen. And so we recognize now this union that we share with God, this unshakable, unbreakable union that we share with the divine, and we relax into it. This is the only thing that Jesus's voice in A Course in Miracles, or the Christ or unified or holy voice that is found in any holy text is trying to get us to see, that we share this with our Creator now and forever. And all we need to do is to acknowledge that and to give everything to that. That's why the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger is so inspiring. He had everything against him. No one thought he could do anything, let alone get to America and be the highest paid movie star in the world. But that's what he accomplished. In fact, it was the breakthrough came in a part that nobody else wanted. It was a very small, low budget movie that every great actor was offered and turned it down. And he was kind of the last person they went to. And he took the role, and that role was the Terminator, the role that defined him and made him the biggest movie star in the world. So maybe now we can do the same thing. We can have the same determination to share that which is in the mind of God for each one of us, to know that we are whole, to know that we are holy and perfect, and that we are loved by a loving God. So that's where we'll jump off. Vicki, I'm going to invite you to jump in here. And Calico, I'm kind of feeling your energy today too. So after Vicki, I'm gonna introduce you. So Vicki, go right ahead.
All right, Brother James. Good morning, everybody. Well, it brought to mind another great little line from the Course in Miracles, and it's a short line that simply says, "To be in the kingdom, you just need to put your full attention on the kingdom." Full attention. And that's no different than saying heaven is a decision I must make every moment, not every day, every moment. Now, that was such a great example of Schwarzenegger, because we can identify with people that have worldly goals, but we have been given, and we came in with, I know that we came in with this spiritual goal. We came in with this goal of light. We came in with it as children, most of us. In fact, Brother James, I think you came in with the goal to be a priest. And here you are, all these years later, and what a wonderful priest you are, right? If that's why it's as if time and space has been seeded with us to ripen right now, and we are ripening. But if we can go back and look at those yearnings when we were children, many of us will find the seeds of awakening right there. And because there's no time, it's about passion and about full attention. If today we put our full attention on that childlike knowing that we're simply children of God. That's real. That's what I was saying yesterday. God couldn't make a world. We had to mow the lawn. We're children of God. God thinks with love and ease. So it made me remember also when I would be with my sisters and we would be in the bathroom and we would talk about the secret. And the secret, of course, was God. God's the secret. God's in everyone. And part of the secret we would talk about that I certainly, and all of us are living into, was that we were here to bring heaven on earth. We would talk endlessly about this as little children because it was a truth. It wasn't encumbered with false identity and false goals in it yet. And it came in with enough clarity that it has stayed with me and I think with my sisters our whole life. And I would bet you it has stayed with most of us in this room, if not all of us, and the rest of us recognize it, that we are called, we have been seated here in time and space. It has been our great joy to come in and remember our divine heritage, that we belong to love, we belong to God. We're simply not our own. And it does require our full attention on it. Like today's lesson, if you're looking at the lessons, something about peace is, all I want is the peace of God. To say these words is nothing. To mean them is everything. That's the difference. Today, we know how to mean them. And as children, we meant them and we didn't realize it was such an effort. It was coming through us naturally. We had a little bit of expanded awareness, many of us. That's what brings us together now. And if not then, we do now. And that expanded awareness is only calling for our attention on it, to put our attention on the light that we are, and to put our attention on the light that all of creation is. John Mundy, who's a great Course in Miracles teacher, put out a post yesterday. It was great. Today is the 4th of July in America. And instead of seeing it as independence, and certainly America is the land, at least who has aspired to these qualities of freedom and for all and independence, it's a day to celebrate our interdependence. That was his theme. And I loved it because that is what we celebrate. In order to be free and truly independent as children of God, we celebrate the oneness that we share. And we look for it everywhere. Look for it everywhere. Look for it in people and things and celebrations, whatever anyone's calling it. When someone's lit up, what they're lit up with is the love of God that they already are. Wherever we find ourselves, that's what's lit up. Whatever we're doing, when we see it in the trees and in an event, in music, in a play, in a movie, we're seeing the light of God and we're recognizing it, and it opens our heart and our soul. And all that we're ever asked to do is put our full attention on it now. If we remember and we remember that spark as children, that's great. But it's not necessary. Somewhere we've heard it for today. And as we put our full attention on it, heaven is a decision I must make. Peace is available. God's love is already what we are. But in order to open to it, it needs our full attention only because our attention has been fully on a wrong identity. It's been on the split. It's been on survival. It's been on what we need to do to get by here. It's been on a dream state, not an awakened state. And all we're asked to do, and that's what we do here every day, is come together to remember together we are one being. We are one creation. We are awakening to our oneness, our interdependence, and that our nature is free and it's love. And it's free because we are all connected. That's what gives us our greatest freedom. And to put all our attention on there. And if Calico's coming on, never be more than 2 thoughts away from God. That's what she talked about last week. Not more than 2 thoughts. And as soon as we catch ourselves, our full attention back on the love of God. That peace is our right. It's our everything. And with that peace comes joy. So that's what I have for this morning, Brother James. Let's see how Calico's going to
All right.
Off.
Before
Thank you.
Calico comes on, I just want to share a little bit of that lesson that you mentioned, today's lesson from A Course in Miracles, because this is the whole thing. This is, good morning, Sharon. You got yourself unmuted. So lovely to see you. So here it is. I want the peace of God. I have to want it more than anything, the only thing. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could but mean them for just an instant, that's all that you need, is to mean it for just an instant. There would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form. What a great promise. In any place or time, heaven would be completely given back to full awareness, memory of God entirely restored, and the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. If you could just want the peace of God fully, completely for an instant, just for an instant, imagine that. That holy instant would then stretch out into eternity. That's what the holy instant is. But we have to choose it. We have to want it with our whole heart, our whole soul, our whole mind, with all our love. So with that being said, Calico, give it to us.
Hola, hola, hola. Hi, everybody. You know, this is great. Oh, thank you. This is exactly what I needed this morning. You know, it goes back to that single desire. I have a single desire for God. Now, when I am judging, that is not a single desire. Actually, it's a single desire, but it's a split desire. I want to, you know, make someone wrong, and I want the peace of God. That will never work. So last week, because I really am into this, I don't get two thoughts away from God. I love this. And so last week, I had two separate thoughts of judgment, two separate, and I saw them. And they were loopers, I like to say. They were reoccurring judgments that, you know, just don't help me ever. So I set up this weekend to go deep, and I stayed in prayer all weekend to see this differently, to really understand these judgments. And you know, what I got, and I've gotten this for a while now, every judgmental thought I have, I hurt myself. I do harm to myself. It doesn't have any effect out there, but it does harm to me. And, you know, the holy relationship, I was reading about this weekend. Many people see the holy relationship as a relationship with somebody else. No, the holy relationship is with me. Am I with God? And when I'm in that place, I'm in a holy relationship with God. That's a holy relationship. It's holy relationship is a place with no sin. No sin. So if I'm having a judgmental thought, that's an error. Some traditions call it a sin. I prefer to call it an error, but it's a place where I'm going to suffer. I will suffer. That's the only thing that'll come out of it. No one else's mind will ever change, and I will suffer. And so it's kind of like really giving over to this single desire. I want the peace for God, and then watching every single thought. And I tell a lot of newbies, if you can't see your thoughts, listen to what you're saying. Most of us never listen to what comes out of our mouth. And as soon as you can start hearing what you're saying, those are thoughts. So if you don't like the way the government is doing something, guess what? It's a judgment. You know, I mean, and it's hear that, and then go to Holy Spirit. This is the magic piece. Pray, go into prayer with Holy Spirit. Help me see this differently. And this weekend, I popped through these two judgmental thoughts, and it was like so beautiful, because it's like, no, I want a holy relationship with me. I no longer want to do harm to myself. And it's kind of like, that's my commitment. Every time I have the single desire, I want the peace of God. And so I don't know, I'm just learning lots for myself, but it really requires something of me. When I recognize these thoughts, I have to take time by myself and go into prayer, because the only one that can help me is Holy Spirit at that point. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
As always, wow. Thank you so much, Vicky and Calico. It really is simple if we allow it to be, if we simply allow it to be. We don't have to solve all the problems in the universe. We just have to solve the only problem that exists, that I think I'm separate. I believe something that's not true. And in believing, I have created a whole world to manifest that unreality. And that yet now we are called back to the real, back to experience what is whole and true. And it's as simple as wanting the peace of God more than anything. Just for an instant. Remember that. All you need to do is to get this for an instant. And then that instant stretches out into eternity. It doesn't seem so far out or so difficult if we realize that we just have to want the peace of God only for an instant, wholly, completely for an instant. So let's set about that today. Let's give ourselves to this completely today, just as it gives itself completely to us every day. That's the thing we have to remember. God's peace is with us in every way, every day. We just have to give an instant back to it, an instant of whole desire for what is true. So that's it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to close it in a new way today. Actually, we used to do the same thing. We'll go ahead and do this. Then I'm going to invite Scott to come up. We have a few extra minutes, and I'll invite Scott to come up and share a prayer. But first, let's go ahead and I'm going to put this on full screen. I'm going to call this the sacred activation. Some of you will remember this from A Course in Miracles. Since we're focusing on the Course, let's say these words and really mean them. Here we go. I am the holy, perfect child of God, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of God's love. In me is creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I am the holy home of God himself. I am the heaven where God's love resides. I am God's holy sinlessness itself, for in my purity abides God's own. So that's where we are. Namaste to all of you.